I'm Doug Massi, and this is part 3 of our 3-part training series, where in the first 2 parts I shared my exact face-to-face sales presentation, soup to nuts, including basic field underwriting and exactly what I say and do during the close. In today's video, Final Expense Training Part 3, I'm going to be sharing my exact door knocking technique and my appointment setting script. And yes, this is a true final expense sales training video, so please give us a thumbs up, throw the like, and subscribe. We're putting out new content every week. Today in the Final Expense Training Part 3, and this is a webinar series, guys. If you have not watched Part 1 or Part 2, you should definitely watch them first. In Part 1 and Part 2, I'm teaching my Final Expense Sales presentation. Again, it's a webinar series, a 3-part series. Today we're going to talk about more than just door knocking and more than just appointment setting. Before I get into what we are going to talk about and get started, there's 2 things you guys are going to want. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to get a copy of the appointment setting super file and the overcoming objections super file. If you would like both of these for yourself, you can simply stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you exactly how to get both of these. Between these 2 super files, you will have appointment setting scripts that cover appointment setting from different leads, and overcoming objection super file covers different objections, which is great for door knocking leads, setting appointments, even closing the sale, etc. So with that being said, yes, when you're door knocking, the only thing you should have with you is your stack of leads, a pen, and maybe the laminated guarantees of whole life insurance and some medical questions pages too. And that way, once you've got the medical questions information, what you're going to do is you're going to have all that. You're very non-intrusive. You're door knocking or you're going in for your presentation. You sit down with them. You make the first part of your presentation. When it's time to do the pricing, then you go get your sales book. Then you go get whatever it is you're going to use, your iPad or your laptop, etc. The night before your field days. And this is all about the door knocking. I am telling you, you want to save time is money, guys. Save yourself time and money. Use a program like Road Warrior, and even with MapQuest, you can put a bunch of addresses on your computer. And this is what I'll do the night before. I'll put a bunch of addresses in that I'm going to be door knocking. And then when I pull them up on the map, you're going to see like the first address is going to be on the east side of town. The second address might be on the west side of town. What you can do is you can actually touch them and move them around so that you're going from one address to the next so they're all close, and you're not going from east to west to north to south to west to east, back and forth. It's going to save you a lot of hassle. And FYI, guys, I keep a big GPS I use in my car, the kind the truckers use, and that way I just use my smartphone for backup. This is the way the pros are doing it. That way you're all set up. If for some reason an address doesn't come up in your GPS, then you pull it up on the smartphone. A lot of times you'll get an address that maybe for one reason won't come up, and you'll find it on the smartphone there. Very simple, guys. Business casual dressing. I keep an ID badge with a picture of me and my company logo hanging on a lanyard around my neck. And when I do the door knock, the door knock I use is tut tut dot tut dot dot. Everybody knows somebody who's going to do a door knock like that. I've had people go, "Oh, I thought you were my nephew," or something like that. When you are doing your door knocking, be vague. I will never mention the word life insurance. Even if they ask me, is this life insurance? Because they filled out the form, they know what it is. They're trying to get out of this. So even when they ask me, is this life insurance? I go back to the benefits. Honey, these are special benefits for people on Social Security. So I'm just saying this because the last thing you want to do is mention insurance, life insurance. You're better off going with what's on the lead, which is usually the word benefits or programs. Let me just go ahead and give you my door knocking script here. I'm going to tell you what it is. I am vague. I do the door knock, top, dot, 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 dot. When the client answers the door, I call them by the first name. Hey, Janet, how are you? I'm Doug. Hey, listen, my office sent me here. You filled out the little form on Facebook about these special benefits for people on Social Security. We've been trying to reach you. Where can we sit down real quick? That is literally how vague I'm being. If it's a direct mailer, I'm showing them the direct mail lead. If it's a Facebook lead, I'm showing them a printout with the day and time that they filled out the form on Facebook. And that's how I'm pushing my way in. Be vague. Don't say life insurance. Don't say insurance. Get yourself in the front door no matter what. And if they try to chase you away, you do not leave. The last thing you want to do is listen to them, reschedule an appointment, because they're going to make excuses up. They're going to have every excuse to get rid of you. It's a knee-jerk reaction. You've got to push your way in the door, let them know, hey, I drove from a very far distance. I don't live here. I'll tell you what, you give me 15 minutes, I'll give you the short version. Normally takes about a half an hour, but at least if I give you the short version, I can tell my boss that I was here, and that way he won't send someone else back here. Where can we sit down real quick? You keep pushing. Do not surrender. And when they give you an objection, one of the things I want to do is I want to lower that wall. See, we all naturally have this wall up that we're securing ourselves from. We're keeping insurance agents out. It's that invisible wall. So I'm going to lower it and say, listen, Janet, my job is simply to get you the information you requested. That's the first thing I'm doing. I am reminding them at the front door that I'm there because of them. It's their fault that I'm there. They did this, not me. Okay, and that's how I convey it. Very simply, Janet, my job is just to get you the information you requested. And listen, I know why you're hesitant. The last thing I want is for some pushy person to come and try to sell my mom or dad something that maybe they're not interested in or not needing. The last thing I'm going to do is that. I'm simply going to show you some options, and you're either going to be happy that I'm here and pleasantly surprised or not, and we'll shake hands and I'll be on my way. Where can we sit down real quick? That's it. That's how I'm overcoming the objection. Sometimes you just got to kind of stand there and talk to them. I've had people say, well, I got an appointment to go to. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, a doctor's appointment. Okay, well, listen, let me make it. And I would just keep talking. And the next thing you know, I'm in the door. There is no appointment. There is no sick person in the back room. Whatever the excuse is, it's normally just that, an excuse. 3 things, real easy. Follow the script. Guys, again, if you need my script, I'm going to show you at the end of the video how to get a copy of it, of all of my appointment setting scripts. Always use energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. I'm telling you, all aspects of sales, when you're making the presentation, when you're calling to set appointments, when you're door knocking leads, show energy. You do not want to be a monotone person that's going to bore them into buying, because that will not work. I always one thing I've learned, I was taught a long time ago, is to be strong on the phone. Control the conversation. Schedule the appointment on your time. I don't ask them, when's better for you, the morning or the evening? I don't do that nonsense. I say to them, I've got an opening between 9 and 9:30 tomorrow morning. How's that with you? Okay? That's how I'm doing it. I'm putting the word yes into their mouth the way that I say that. When the prospect says, well, tomorrow's a bad day, call me back, what I'll do is I'll still keep speaking with them. And one of the things I will say is, when it comes down to it, I'll do the exact same thing, calling to set appointments, as I do door knocking the leads to overcome the objection. Janet, listen, I can hear the hesitation in your voice. My job is simply to get you the information you requested. I don't have to come there and sell you anything, but I do need to sit with you for just a few minutes. And the last thing I would want is for somebody to do some high pressure sales nonsense to my mom or dad. I promise you, I don't do that. That is not what I'm about. So I've got an opening between 9 and 9:30 tomorrow morning. Do me a favor, grab a pen and paper so I can give you my information. And that's how I do it. I go right into that appointment. My appointment setting script. What I'm not going to do is do the whole script with you, but I want you to hear a little something and just kind of how I start so that I can bring up something. And when they answer the phone, I'll say, hi, Janet, how are you today? Great. Well, this is Doug Massi. And Janet, I know you were on Facebook yesterday and you filled out the little form about the special final expense benefits for people on Social Security. Does that sound familiar? They'll say yes. So with that said, guys, I'm only wanting you to hear that first part so that you can hear, again, I am very clear. I get right to the point. I am not giving them any hesitation. I'm not sounding boring. I am using that energy and enthusiasm that I mentioned earlier. And if you follow the script, you cannot go wrong. Look, everybody, with all of us, it takes time for us to get good at setting appointments. Some agents, I hate to say it, I know agents that have been doing this for years and they just hate to set appointments. If that's the case, this may not be the business for you because it's all part of it. The best agents are great at setting appointments. And then what we do is we teach someone else how to do it for us. Just to be clear, the last thing you want to do is give 20 leads to an appointment setter and expect them to get 10 appointments. That's not going to happen. An appointment setter is never going to get you the same amount of appointments that you can get. So if you're getting, let's say, 5 or 6 appointments off of every 20 leads, you can expect them to get less. And the bottom line is, if you're giving 20 leads to an appointment setter, I'm assuming you're rich, you've got an office, you've got other businesses, it's just a side thing, because the last thing you want to do is give 20 leads. To me, 20 leads a week is not even enough to work part-time to an appointment setter. When I started working with appointment setter, the idea of using the appointment setter was so that I could increase leads and sell more insurance, not make it easier for me to do less. Make sure you've got, my suggestion, at least 30 to 40 leads before you even think about working with an appointment setter. The last thing you want is for your client to call, you pick up the phone, and them say, I don't want to go, I'm canceling. Something came up. Guys, I'm telling you, you let them leave a message. If someone's calling me and I think it could possibly be there, if there's a chance it could be someone canceling, I'm always going to let them hit the voicemail, and then we're going to deal with it later. If they're calling to cancel an appointment that you scheduled, guess what? You're going to go there, and guess what? Whatever the excuse was, it's going to probably be an excuse, and they're going to be still sitting there on the couch watching TV. Go to the appointment. Don't let them cancel on you. The lead is never dead until the prospect either buys the insurance or kicks you off their property. Period. That's the bottom line, guys. It doesn't matter. I am chasing every lead. If the prospect doesn't take the appointment and they tell me, oh, they thought it was something else, whatever the excuse is, I'm going to be knocking on their door within the next few days. And trust me, half of those people, it's a completely different story when you're face to face than over the phone. When they can be mean over the phone, and in person, they can be sweet as pie. True Social Security billing is very important, guys. When the Social Security recipient receives their funds on the 1st or 3rd, the draft date will occur on the day the funds are deposited into the checking account. Now, why am I bringing this up? This is not basic. This is important. Because if the 3rd falls on a holiday or a weekend, they are going to get their money in their checking account the business day before. Make sure when you are setting up the draft date that you don't allow your client to dictate the draft date. You put the draft date. Don't listen to the nonsense. You tell them this is how we're going to do it. You get your money on the 3rd. They're going to draft it after your money comes into your checking account. Okay? That's when we're going to draft it, right after it comes into the checking account. The insurance company will never draft early. You don't ever have to worry about that. As far as carriers are concerned, if you're new, you should have your primary carrier that you're writing and then your backup carrier. And that to me is really the way to do this business as a new agent. Don't try using 5 carriers right from the start. That's not how this business works. Just use your primary carrier. Once you get used to them, then try another carrier. You know, if you've got a client that has COPD and it's your first appointment, sell them whatever your primary carrier will allow them to get. Once you get really good at this, then you can do a little more field underwriting. Make sure your sales book is full. You've got multiple carriers in there just in case, brochures, applications. I keep all that extra stuff in the car also. And for those agents that are a part of my sales team, please call me if you need help and you're with a client, and I will always, always, always be there. Guys, remember, our business activity equals sales. So when you're sitting at home studying, you'll never sell anything. The only way you're going to sell is if you're out in the field selling. That's the only way. Commit to weekly leads. Deliver all your policies. Make sure that everybody that you meet with, especially if you do not sell them, fills out the agent evaluation form so that you can get referrals. And guys, if you'd like a copy of the appointment setting super file, the overcoming objections super file, or the agent evaluation to get referrals, just shoot me an email at doug@ufesonline.com.
Remember, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. So get out there, guys, and do something good for someone today. Happy hunting.